What's up, everyone? Welcome back to After the Storm. This is the Canes game review for game number 64 of the season. A 4-3 shootout loss to the Dallas Stars. Introing this game, we have Frederik Andersen back in the net, taking on Scott Wedgwood, a newly acquired goaltender at the deadline for Dallas. Two players make their respective team debuts in this one. Max Domi, of course, for the Carolina Hurricanes, the loan acquisition for Carolina at the trade deadline. And for Dallas, Vladislav Namestnikov, coming over from Detroit, he also makes his Stars debut. And lastly, this is the team. This is the team that we're going to the playoffs with. This is what we have, and now the test really begins over these next 18 games, is how good is this team. And as the first period kicks off, what would be the theme of this game, Scott Wedgwood makes an incredible backdoor sliding pad save on Sebastian Aho, robbing him of a goal. Svechnikov would take a roughing penalty on Tyler Seguin. Came up with a hit, got the stick up. Again, just stuff we want to see Svech avoid these kind of plays, and unfortunately he does not here. However, nothing really comes of this power play for Dallas. Carolina kills it off easily. And towards the end of the period, Svechnikov coming in, gets a nice pass for Vincent Trocheck, bursts through the defenders, and gets a chance on goal, but he rips it way wide of the net. And that would be the end of a not so entertaining first period. Despite the shot count, 19-4 for Carolina. The game is tied. And as we open up the second period, Ben at the point, kind of with a snapshot, just quick kind of slap shot play. It finds its way through. I believe it was deflected on the way through, maybe off a Carolina Hurricane here. But finds its way past Frederik Andersen, and a disastrous start to the second period. And then the intensity of this game would really ramp up in what would really become a playoff type game here. Domi throwing a hit, KK throwing a hit, Joel Hanley absolutely drops Derek Stepan. Pesce would take a hit up high with an elbow coming up from Vladislav Namestnikov. Pesce really took exception to this one and ripped his gloves off, started feeding Namestnikov punches. Namestnikov really didn't want to fight here. And at the end of this, Pesce comes out of here with an extra, or the 10-minute game misconduct for the play here. And I know there was lots of complaints about the officiating and why you call the elbow and that doesn't need to happen, which is, they're all accurate. That's exactly what is the case here, is this didn't need to happen. But the 10-minute misconduct is kind of founded. It's a good call because Namestnikov didn't have his gloves off by the time Brett Pesce was already throwing punches at his head. And this is already being a tough game for Carolina, and it continues. But shortly after this, maybe a bit of a momentum swing, Nino Niederreiter in the slot gets a shot through. It kind of, ping-pongs around, but finds its way through Scott Wedgwood, and it's a 1-1 game. So that is Niederreiter's 18th of the season. He is having a tremendous campaign, and as mentioned before on this channel, as mentioned on Twitter a bunch of times, he should be one of the focuses on getting re-signed after this season. But after the goal, Wedgwood continues his strong play. Carolina's biggest deficiency in this game was not getting traffic to the front of the net, and it was all over the place. Wedgwood was able to see most of the pucks. He made some terrific saves. He was tremendous in this game, but Carolina did not do enough to make his night hell in this one. And Trocheck takes a penalty very late into the period, or very late with the period remaining. An abusive official call. Again, I don't know exactly what was said. I don't think anybody really does, but obviously not a great penalty to take. The tensions were high. The officiating in this game was obviously pretty subpar, but you can't put your team shorthanded like this. And during that penalty, we would end the second period. The score is 1-1 heading to the third. And the shot's 34-9 in favor of Carolina. Again, outplaying a team this hard, should be able to win this game. And opening up the third, Carolina kills off the penalty. Radulov takes a delay of game penalty, puck over the glass, sending Carolina to their first power play. And what has become a staple of this power play, the high slot, which earlier on the season it was a low slot chance that just didn't work. Teravainen to Aho. Trocheck on the rebound, tucks it past Wedgwood's pad, and it's 2-1 Carolina. And shortly after that, all the momentum zapped again. Pavelski finds Hintz in the slot. He goes through, gets that shot away, beats Frederik Andersen. I think Freddie's completely screened on the play by Jacob Slavin, unfortunately, here. Doesn't even really see the puck, but it's 2-2, tied up again. Jamie Benn takes a hooking penalty, Carolina to their second power play. And pretty much as the penalty would expire, I don't believe this was a power play goal, but Nino Niederreiter, off of a slap pass from Brady Shea from the point, tips it past Scott Wedgwood, and it's 3-2. And immediately right back, I took my eyes off of the game for about 2 seconds here, and Hintz back in, gets a nice pass, gets it through, buries the backhand past Frederik Andersen, definitely one he'd want back. I think he'd want this whole game back. So we're tied up again. Aho with a really bad turnover at the Dallas line. Kind of just throws it to nobody on this play. D'Angelo has to hustle back, takes a hooking penalty, called a penalty shot. And as Michael Raffle is lining up to take this penalty shot, ESPN goes to commercial. And I know some people on Twitter were saying that they came back just as the shot was coming off, but on my screen, the shot was already stopped when they came back from commercial. So somehow ESPN thought it was a good idea to go to commercial during a penalty shot. Nevertheless, Andersen stops Raffle, and it's still 3-3. And that would do it for regulation. In this one, we're tied 3-3. Dallas gets a much-needed point in the standings. Carolina heading off to overtime in a game they have very much dominated. And in overtime, Aho and Svechnikov and Aho and Pesce both have some great 2-on-1 opportunities, but Wedgwood makes some incredible saves on them. Teravainen would take down Denis Gurianov toward the end of the overtime session, sending Dallas to their third power play. But nothing would really come out of that. We end overtime 3-3 and head to the shootout. And in the shootout, first up is Vincent Trocheck. He comes down, is stopped by Scott Wedgwood. The other way, Tyler Seguin comes down, beats Frederik Andersen with the 5-hole. A great snipe here from Tyler Seguin, who I thought was quiet for most of this game, but in the shootout here, he definitely sealed it. Svechnikov down, goes low blocker, an excellent save here by Scott Wedgwood. Jason Robertson comes down, kind of swinging, looping around, and loses the puck. Freddie comes over, makes an easy save because he just completely ran out of room. And we head to our third shooter. Tony DeAngelo's got a score here to win to keep the game alive. Comes in with a ton of head fakes, ton of leg kick, and tries to get Wedgwood to bite on something. Goes to the backhand. Wedgwood follows him all the way. A big save for Scott Wedgwood, and the Dallas Stars take this one 4-3 in overtime. So I mentioned this on Twitter. This is another playoff-style matchup that the Canes have lost. And really unfortunate because these are becoming more and more common. Heavily outshooting an opponent, getting goalie to bit in this one, and it's a physical matchup and they come out on the losing end of it. This has got to turn around at some point. I've used the term cause for concern a lot so far this season. This is another game where there's some cause for concern for sure. So on to some player analysis. Let's start off with the good. I thought the Stahl line, Stahl, Faust, Nino Niederreiter, excellent again in this one. Controlling a lot of possession in the zone. Nino Niederreiter, 2 goals in this game. Just an excellent performance from those guys. They're certainly not, any of those 3 don't deserve any of the blame for this one. Average in this one, I had Domi because, honestly, aside from the first period, I don't recall seeing him take another shift in this one. I don't know really what was going on. I know he, took, I shouldn't even say he threw a hit in the second period, and that's the last time I even recall seeing him in this game. Just not a strong debut. He was on the 4th line, of course, but not a very strong debut for number 13. Bad in this one, I had Freddie. it's just a bad game from him. I'm sure he won all these goals back and everything. And then on the other side, I had the refs. A lot of putting the whistles away in this game. And don't want to see that, really. You want to see the rule book called, and sometimes you just can't get that. And for Dallas, Scott Wedgwood. An acquisition at the deadline, a friend of Tyler Seguin's. A very under-the-radar goalie in this league. He obviously hasn't had, a great career at all, really. And but he has, performances like this where it's just a fantastic outing from him. He was phenomenal in this game. Anyways, guys, that's going to do it for this one. Thank you so much for watching. As always, hit that like button down below. Hit the subscribe button to the channel so you can get these videos as soon as they upload. And as always, I'll catch you guys on the next one.